Sathya Sai Speaks, Volume 9, Chapter 29. Win the One. Bharatiyas have a way of laying down do's and don'ts for every activity, for each part of one's duty to oneself and others. They are amenable to discipline and self-control because they know the joy that can be derived from limitations and restrictions. They are also eager to experience rather than expound spiritual truth. The emphasis from the very beginning of the Vedic age has been on how much you have earned rather than how much have you learned. They know that the final beatitude is something inexplicable, that there are certain stages beyond the senses, the intellect, the emotions, and even beyond the ego, and that these stages confer the utmost ecstasy. The sages have laid down three categories which comprise the knowable world: God, nature, and I. Ishvara, Prakriti, and Jiva. God, when seen through the mirror of nature, appears as I. Remove the mirror, there is only God. The image merges in the original. Man is but the image of God. Even nature is but an appearance of God. The reality is He alone. The principle of appearance that deludes as multiple manifestations is Maya. It is not external to God. It is inherent in God, just as all powers are inherent in Him. When the I image is conceived as distinct, we have dualism or Dvaitam. When it is recognized as only an unreal image, but yet, when it is given some relevance as related to the original, then it is Vishishta Advaitam, qualified monism. When both the I image and the mirror are recognized as illusions and dismissed as such, only one remains. This is the Advaita Darshanam, the vision of the One without a second. The search for the One without a second is the search of India since ages. The endeavor has always been to discover the One, which, when known, all else can be known. The knowledge that is worthwhile is the knowledge of unity, not diversity. Diversity means doubt, dissension, dispiritedness. The seen is different from the seer. The seer in everyone is the same. God is like gold, which subsists through all the jewels. There are 4 stages in sadhana. The first takes you to Salokya. You are in the kingdom of God. You have to obey the king's commands. Be loyal to him. Respect his lightest wish and serve him sincerely, surrendering without any reservation. The second stage is Samipya. It is the stage when you are in the palace as one of the couriers or courtiers, or chamberlains or servants. You are nearer to him and develop divine qualities. The next stage is Sarupya. The sadhaka imbibes the form of the divine, that is to say, he is like the brother or near kinsman of the king, entitled to wear royal robes and paraphernalia. And lastly, we have the Sayujya, when, as the crown prince, he succeeds to the throne and becomes monarch himself. The subject is as the limb, the king is as the heart. The mind that does not know the One is a dry leaf, rising with every gust of wind and falling when it subsides. But the mind fixed in the awareness of the One is like a rock, unaffected by doubt, stable, secure. God, as amenable to worship and contemplation, is referred to as Hiranyagarbha, golden womb, the origin of creation, the immanent principle that has willed to become manifest and multiply. The term gold is appropriate, for gold is the one from which multifarious jewels are shaped by the craftsman, each to suit the need, fancy, foibles, and fashions of the wearers. God too is shaped by human imagination, inclination, and intellect, into various forms grand or grotesque, frightening or charming. Man erects these images and pours out before them his fears, fancies, desires, dreads, and dreams. He accepts them as masters, comrades, monarchs, teachers, as the moment dictates. But whatever man may do with God, God is unaffected. He is gold, which subsists in and through all the jewels. Renounce your identity with the body to realize God. He is in you, and it is He that has prompted you to project Him into the outer world as this idol or that image, to listen to your outpouring and give you peace. Without the inspiration, solace, and joy that He confers from within, you will be raving mad as one who has lost his moorings and is tossed about, rudderless on a stormy sea. Hold on to Him in the heart. Hear Him whisper in the silent words of counsel and consolation. Hold converse with Him. Guide your footsteps as He directs, and you reach the goal safe and soon. The picture before which you sit, the flowers which you place on it, the hymns you recite, the vows which you impose on yourselves, the vigils you go through, these are activities that cleanse, that remove obstacles in the way of your getting aware of the God within. Really speaking, you are He, not this body which you are carrying with you like the snail, loaded with its own house, the shell. When the fascination for the body goes, the light of the God within will shine and illumine your thoughts, words, and deeds. Krishna says in the Gita that He will release you from bondage the moment you renounce sarva dharma, all feelings of obligation and responsibilities, of rights and duties, of from me and to me, that is to say. He requires the renunciation of the identity of the individual with the body. That is the Dharma, the supreme duty which Krishna had come to teach. Man has a duty to himself, recognizing that he is divine and nothing else. When he neglects this and strays into the bypaths, God incarnates and brings him on to the right path again. Fight against the 6 demons infesting your mind. The need comes first, and then the teaching to suit the need, the form to impart the teaching. Narada, the celestial sage, is said to have suffered from mental agitations, and the sage Sanat Kumara taught him the Vedas to restore peace of mind. The Vedas cannot therefore be said to be beginningless. There are many names of sages and poets mentioned in the Vedic hymns, and so the hymns are subsequent to the birth of those persons. Valmiki is said to have composed the Ramayana and taught it first to the twin children of Rama, who later sang the whole epic before the divine hero, their father, in open Durbar, King's Court. When you emphasize the container, the body, the bulb, and not the contained, the soul, the current, Then you talk of this God and that, of the creator Brahma, the protector Vishnu, the destroyer Shiva. But really, this body and the bodies in front of me are all the same. Only the intake of current in each is different, though the current itself is the same. The 6 demons, Kama, lust, Krodha, anger, Lobha, greed, Moha, attachment, Mada, pride, and Matsarya, hate, pursue you and turn you into the wrong paths and make you servile, stupid, and sad. Fight against them resolutely. That is the lifelong war you have to wage. It is not a 7 years war or a 30 years war. It may be 100 years war if you live 100 years. The struggle knows no respite. This is a civil war where vigilance alone can bring dividends. Arjuna prayed to Krishna, "The mind is infested by these demons. It does not afford me a moment of rest." Krishna said, "Give it to me. Easy, is it not? Like the bee which hums until it reaches a flower and starts drinking the nectar, the mind too will clamor until it settles on the lotus feet of the Lord, and then it is silent. For it is engaged in tasting divine nectar. Once it discovers the nectar, it will not flutter any more." Sages guided the monarchs of ancient kingdoms. Dedicate yourself to God. Sudama was asked by the Lord, "Tell me what you need." He replied, "I need you and you alone, for that includes all." The little son asks the father for a book, a bush shirt, a ball, and a pen. If only he wins the love of the father, he has no need even to think of the items that he requires. The father will anticipate his needs and provide the articles. This consideration goaded the monarchs in the ancient kingdoms of India to seek counsel from some sage who had no affiliation or prejudice, who therefore knew what best to do in any crisis. They were men full of love for humanity, compassion for the distressed, and understanding of the motives of the wrongdoers. They were of 5 grades of spiritual greatness: Pandits, Rishis, Raja Rishis, Maharishis, and Brahma Rishis. They were free from any trace of ambition or avarice to amass land, wealth, or fame. Sage Vashishta, the preceptor and counselor of Emperor Dasharatha, initiated Rama into the mystic formula called Aditya Hridayam, the heart of the sun, directing him to recite it whenever victory appeared to slip out of his grasp. These counselors steered the kingdom safe. A rain was needed to put down the conflagration lit by the wicked cousins, which was fed by oil, Kama, and wind, Sakuni, and so Krishna arranged for a rain of arrows at Kurukshetra. If the ruler bases his rule on the faith that God resides in all, and that every individual is to be respected as such, then there will be no discontent or discord. That is the Vedantic foundation on which aspects of living have to be built. The Buddha too built his religion on the Vedanta, though he might not have acknowledged the source. The source was something taken for granted. It was never disputed. It was inescapable. The spiritual alone gives happiness and joy. The spiritual alone can confer happiness, can give lasting fame and joy. For example, some years ago, the atmosphere of India was echoing with the fame of 3 patriots, Lal, Bal, and Pal. Of these, the name Bal Gangadhar Tilak may last longer than those of Lala Lajpat Rai or of Bipin Chandrapal. 4. Tilak wrote the Gita Rahasya, a commentary on the Bhagavad Gita. Your bodies have been acquired for realizing God and dedicating them for searching the divine, serving the divine and sustaining the divine. That alone can satisfy your innermost craving and remove the gnawing discontent. Prashanti Nilayam, October 21st, 1969.